Oh, figures. You know, sooner or later I'm going to figure out when the red light's blinking, it's actually on. I'll get better at this. Hi, how you doing? So, thought I better get the camera on for this one. This is hopefully going to be one of my better ones. I hope everything gets better from here, actually. So here's my theory. I like tote bags. I'm a tote bag kind of person. I don't mind a backpack. A good backpack is a great thing. When I gotta carry a whole lot of stuff, definitely a great thing because it distributes the weight better. But oftentimes I use a tote bag. So what I'm working on doing is making tote bag module set. Okay, so bear with me here. My theory is that with a tote bag, you can just switch out the stuff that you need with you via subject matter. Yeah, that's how my brain works. I like to categorize via subject matter or via task. So, in my last video, I kind of talked a little bit about my iPad sleeve that I worked on. Now, this is just a prototype. I did a whole bunch of different things trying to figure out what not to do, really, more than anything. But what I did figure out is the gusset that it has on it. I figured out not to do this. So the inside of this is two different kinds of interior. This is just a quilter's cotton with fabric here, just like this, with fabric and batting. It's just a quilted surface with quilter's cotton on the inside. I think it's fine. There's a lot of sleeves on the market, the kind of stuff that's built that way, and it's fine to some degree. I don't think it offers the amount of protection that I'm looking for in a sleeve or any, something to protect my device. Because y'all, guess what? The stuff that we carry around that are our devices, they cost a fortune. I want to protect that investment. I don't want to have to go through the problems of either if I have a warranty on it, get it fixed, all those things. I don't want to have to do any of that. So, to me, protecting it a little bit more is pretty crucial. So that's what I'm trying to do, is not use just a quilted version of something. I want some more protection. So I went to the same outside shell with the batting, and then I have it's kind of a, well, it's really, the finish on this is kind of a leather look stuff, but it's not really leather. It's a knit foam-ish material. It's okay. Not bad. It's really more of an upholstery thing, to be honest. It's not bad, but it didn't get where I really wanted to go. It's not bad. It's still a player, and I'll still use this. But, so here's where I'm trying to go this time. This is neoprene. It's 1/4 inch. I don't think it's quite a 1/4 inch. Yeah, maybe it is. Now I'm looking at my mat here. I'm going to try, and this one does not have the adhesives, and I'm slightly regretting that decision when I bought it. But it's not, this isn't really thick enough, I don't think. It's really hard to tell until you unpeel something, because the paper on this stuff is stout, to see what it's going to be. But my theory on this one, here I am thinking out loud, right, is that I like the adhesive aspect of this. I kind of wish I'd have went with that with this one, and I'm going to see what I can figure out. I may just do a spray adhesive. We'll see. We're not there yet. I'm sharing my thoughts, scary as they might be, is that this is what I'm working on right now. It's not for the iPad. I'm figuring out where I need to be, because basically once I get this one for my laptop, because I've got, so these things are expensive. This is not the latest and greatest, but it's still stinking expensive. This is a 16-inch MacBook Pro. It's just an M2, so it's not the latest and greatest, but it's still expensive. I still want to protect it. So that's the sleeve that I'm working on presently. And basically, so I'm going to do the outside shells. I've got 2 of them. I'm about ready to trim this down. I'm going to do a pocket on the outside like I did with this one, because I'd like to be able to at least put my thin line mouse in it. I've got a mouse that I usually, what I travel with. I'm decent at a trackpad, but there's some apps that I really prefer a mouse. So I'd like to be able to take it when I want it. And I'm going to try to do something to figure out how to get a good neoprene protection level in it. I may do something else with the corners too, because have y'all been on an airplane? You're shoving your big huge bag up into that the luggage carrier, and it's all together great until everybody's in a hurry getting off the aircraft. You grab that thing, pull it down, and it goes all the way to the floor because it weighs too dang much. Yeah. Dents your laptop. Just a smidge! But that still takes value out of it. Even if it didn't damage it, it still does it. And so I didn't have enough of a protector on my last one that I had. And I don't want to see that happen again. And it just so happens that my husband, he did the same thing, exactly the same thing. And I was like literally even thinking about that when I pulled that down. I'm like, ooh! Anyway, but he ended up having on his, he doesn't have a Mac, and I don't know that it makes any difference, to be honest. But he pulled, and his hit the ground on the aircraft, and literally in the dent that went into his laptop, he had to replace the screen. a little bit of R&D and trying to figure out how to make something that I can just travel with and throw, whether it's in my backpack or in a tote bag. That's where I'm going. So I will, as I share things, I'll let you know. And I'm going to continue cutting my pieces, and then I'm going to quilt these up. And then I'm going to figure out how to make this work. I'm looking right now at that. I know for a fact, at least this much, I'm going to do my best to be able to use this. How I'm going to bind it in, we're going to get there. But at least it's wide enough for sure that I can do something. We can see that much. So I will share as I go and see what we end up getting. All right, we'll catch you in a bit. All right. I just talked for like 10 minutes and forgot to press record. Oh, that's great. Anyway, so I just finished doing the quilting on the top and bottom of the shell pieces. And now what I'm going to do is, now watch when I get to edit this, I'll have to laugh at myself because I still got to make pockets for the other one. Anyway, but what I'm doing right now is I just switched over to a walking foot on this old Bernita, just because I do not think that the pressure is going to move this material because it's really thick. I'm wondering whether I'm going to have to switch to my industrial machine or not. I really hope not, because that's not what I want to do, because I want to be able to repeat this a bunch. Now, what I learned the last time I tried to use the walking foot on here, I can't zigzag with it. I know that much. It skips stitches when I zigzag, and I have no idea why. It just does. And it's really not worth the fight, because I don't really need to do that anyway. So I'm just going to try and see if this will do anything for me. Because working with rubber, well, it doesn't seem to hate it. I've got a nice wide stitch. I certainly wouldn't want to quilt the whole thing, but going over, this is just R&D at this point. These are my own items that I'm trying to develop. And if this works, what I may do is just make it to where, like, I mark certain rows of whatever I'm quilting to not quilt those rows. The walking foot, the Bernita didn't seem to care. I just know that pressure will not. So what do I want to do here? I'm going to cut back. Yeah. I'm just kind of trying to roll a pattern in the center-ish areas. just to hold it in place well, because I'm still going to put the lining on this. Now, this is so not a tutorial. This may be a video about what not to do, which is usually how my R&D works, but that is R&D for you. But it may turn out that if this works, then what I'll do is when I go to quilt other patterns, because this one, of course, I start off with something that's patterned and it needs to be geometrically matching, of course, because we can't do anything simple the first time. That would be way too easy, right? But yeah, the walking foot it's not arguing with it, and the power of the Bernita does not seem to have any issues either. And I do have a heavy gauge needle in here. It's a denim needle on it. So it's a 80-12, I want to say. Although, I'm seeing now, we are skipping stitches like it's nobody's business. It's going through the thing fine, but it is not picking up stitches. Especially if this is the material that seems to... Yeah, we're not. It's only occasionally that it's even hitting. Only occasionally. Sadness. Well, it's a good thing this is mine. Because it is working. See? Look. It's actually tacking it here and there. Yeah, this is... I thought it was just the zigzags that was causing a problem. But clearly the thickness or something about that aspect is definitely causing an issue with the timing, although because it's not catching the bottom thread. No point in doing that. Okay, well, I gotta do some troubleshooting, but yeah. So now it tells me the walking foot isn't gonna work worth a darn for much of it. I don't have one for my Singer. Could go use my other machine, but I don't wanna. Dang it. Alright, I gotta figure some things out. So I will report back as I figure it out. Alright, back again. So we'd figured out that the walking foot won't work on this, but it turns out that the regular foot was just fine. It moved through way better than I thought it would. Secondly, so I went ahead and put the back panel lining on. I'm not going to quilt any of that because I decided to go ahead and attach it. Just go ahead and attach a full panel. Because here's the thing. This is intended to have a gusset. What do I mean by that? It is like this. It's webbing. It's attaching the two panels together along with the zipper. Now what I'm going to have to be careful of is what I learned on this one is that you got to have about the same width. And I need to make sure that one of the things that I learned on this one is that my end radius needs to be flexible so that as I work around it, it can have the right end. But so basically my zipper, it's going to be the same style. So one of the things that I just did, I didn't do it on camera, but is I just made sure that this panel is literally 1 inch all the way around, bigger size than the actual laptop. So it's 1 inch all the way around. That way it gives me some seam allowance. And it's kind of, by doing that, it's kind of hugging it a little bit, which I'm hoping will be enough. But here's the thing that I'm looking at, and I'll have to see whether this transpires or needs to transpire. When I trimmed this down, I ended up with these little strips of neoprene. And I'm thinking that once I get the gusset in there, I might literally be able to, let's see if I can turn this down enough so you can see it. I might literally be able to even place these additional chunks that I trimmed off into the gusset. So that means that impacts will have, because so this will be part of the seam allowance, and then this would set Now it wouldn't be lined like that, but if I put this in the gusset, in that little pocket, like, which would be an even pocket on this next one, but inside here, like in the between the two overseams, this would be equivalent to that. And I mean, anyway, it'd be the same because this was an experiment. I think I shared that already, but at least there'd be some more protection there, and I could do that with double stick tape, because that stuff is stinking solid. Anyway, so I'm thinking that might be a thing by just using these strips that I trimmed off, which means that when I made it the size that I did, which now means that I need to take that other panel that I have quilted and make sure I record what size that is, because when I make the pattern for this to repeat, then I need to actually have these trim pieces. That needs to be consistent if I use it that way. And something tells me I might, because I really do want to have some extra protection, and I wasn't sure how I was going to achieve that. And that may very well be how I achieve that, is just having that trim, that extra padding around the perimeter to give it that extra that needs for the impact, so possible impact being dropped, whatever. But so that's where I'm at. All right, I am back. So, update. We are working still on the laptop sleeve, but guess what, guys? I decided, I was examining one of my other ones that I really like. It just doesn't fit right, so this one's gonna fit right. But check it out. It's Minky. I literally use Minky because, like I said, I love the feel. Things slide easily. The Minky sheds like it's nobody's business, but Neoprene that I had down on this one, I'm going with the spray adhesive. I hope this works out, but I've seen a bunch of other creators using this. It's just spray adhesive, and I don't use it heavy. It's just enough to get the job done, but just enough to hold things. Just keep things from gapping, like, being loose. And then what I've done is, so my outside is about 1/2 inch. The radius past the neoprene is about 1/2 inch. So that way I'm not trying to sew neoprene, because that was not my best idea. The machine didn't hate it. I didn't like it. So, and then I got the Minky, which I'm super thrilled with. I love the feel. It seems to be not that bad to work with. It's a little fuzzy. That means I'm going to have to vacuum even more. And then I ran it through the serger, because managing those edges and ends, I think, is quite important. So, I've got that one. The next one, yeah, you're going to say I'm going to be being weird with this, but I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing again, even though there's already a lining on this one. I'm just going to go ahead and put Minky on top of it, because this one's mine. Don't worry. I mean, if you guys buy anything off the store, it's not going to be that way. But this is mine. I'm prototyping. And I'm good with that, because this is not enough for me. This is not enough. I like this. I love the feel of it. And then, guess what? Oh, so I'm going to share this one with you. And I ran across a video of a nice lady doing bag making. Here, I'm going to just adjust y'all just a tad. Okay, and she is using foldable elastic. Y'all, I never even heard of foldable elastic. But it's very lightweight. It's not too stretchy. This is not what I would use for like a waistband and shorts. It would be more like a cuff. Something that's not going to have to hold my pants up. I mean, I don't think it's lack of durable. It's a lot thinner. I don't know if you can tell. It's a lot thinner than I see with elastic, which I think is good. But anyway, she was using that because it folds really nice, and it's already got finished edges. who can beat that? It's a lot better than double binding, that's for sure. And so yes, it's gonna be, let's see if I can do this. Here, let me modify. I need my hands. Alright, so basically with this, when it's got the see, I think that's gonna be just fabulous. Fabulous, I say. And that way, if I'm in on that thing, probably, I would say 1/4 of an inch is what I'm going to run that. Probably. And if it has extra over, it's not like it's coming out, because there isn't any out to come out. That's because it's got finished edges. And this stuff was way less expensive than double binding is. I've given up on the whole make it out of cotton thing, because, y'all, neoprene ain't cotton. Just saying. And so I've got a couple of different things that I'm trying with this one. I've got the full neoprene. I'm going to make another one very similar. I'm probably going to go steal my husband's laptop and make one to see if the size changes much, because that's the PC world and the gamer level thing. And I want to see if it changes much to this, because I do have to figure out sizes. So I'm going to see because I've got another, so actually here's the sample. I have some adhesive neoprene interfacing. This is only 1/8 of an inch, but I also got some headliner material that has a suede finish and has foam in it. So I've got that coming in here in a couple days. And I want to see if I like that finish. Because right now I don't think I can get away from the whole quilting thing. But neoprene's expensive, y'all. So I want to be able to keep costs down for not only you, but me. And if I can do the other stuff, I can get more of it per square foot. And then I'll have to do the math and see what works better and stuff and things. And because see, I'm also thinking if I did that, then I still could use the neoprene, because it's very impact resistant, and do the edges so that, the edge drop aspect of things. I think that one might actually get us there anyway. So I'm going to finish this one off with Minky, and then I'll be ready to start attaching zippers and binding, or webbing. Oh, by the way, I'm adding D-rings to the edges. I don't know if this is going to work out, but I want a D-ring on it whether I use it or not. But sometimes, like I said, I told you guys I'm sharing with you the process that I'm going through for making tote bag module system. Well, whether it be used for a backpack or a tote bag doesn't actually make any difference. Anyway, so I'm going to add some Minky to this and go forth. Sorry about the interruption. I've got a laser engraver running on the background, and I heard something weird, so I had to go check on it. But just for a side note, just in case you're wondering if this channel is going to be all sewing stuff, it's not. This is all about creating. It's either making something better or making it in general. That's what it's about. I'm all over the planet. I think you guys are going to figure that out real quick. I'm all over the place. I'm going to do what inspires and hopefully you guys are inspired by going and doing. So anyway, adding some Minky. See you in a little bit. Hi. Well, we're back again. So, since I last talked to you, I had put together, was working on this laptop sleeve. We had the Minky inside. It's not bad. I like the Minky, by the way. It doesn't play as well with the thinner neoprene, though. So, that being the case, and I also figured out the D-ring thing, it's really hard to work with this way. So, I mean, one turned out okay. The other one, not so much. Can I get that better? Of course. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so, oops, I need to. Okay, sorry about that. I forgot to put my mic on. And the last little pieces that I was editing definitely showed me that it matters. I'm doing the best I can, y'all. Well, I should say I'm doing the best that I can think of at the moment, I think. So, anyway, this one, here's the thing about this one. It's too heavy for my taste. This is the one that has the thicker neoprene. It's got some body to it. It's got some weight. I think it might have too much. So, what we did is we went back and ran down the road again. I didn't do this on camera because here's the thing, y'all. I can't do everything on camera. I've just plain discovered that. Sometimes I just don't have it mentally to do the thing on camera. I'm trying. Hopefully I'll get better at this. So anyway, this one has it's got kind of a headliner material. Where is it at? You know, that's kind of funny. I don't even know where it's at. Anyway, it's here somewhere. It's right behind. And it's got a foam backer, and then I went with the thinner neoprene. This one's much lighter. Of course, it doesn't have two of them on it. Here's the second piece. Yeah, that's better. The challenge that I'm facing now, because this one also I put a pocket on it. I'm getting the measurements right. I'm not documenting my measurements. I'm trying to make it to where I can repeat something for once. Unlike a recipe in my life, where I don't think I ever make anything exactly the same twice. I think that's a lot of us, though. Anywho, I did figure out that, you know, because this one was driven by pattern. The line where I landed the pocket, I was actually trying to match up to where it looked really kind of cool with the pattern of the fabric. Here's what I ran into as the challenge. When you put a pin in it, if you put it in there and you don't have a clip on it, it kind of buries itself. So that's too high. Alright, so I went through and took my 1/4 of an inch double stick tape, ran all the way around here. The little pockets are working nicely. I angled the neoprene in the corner because it's curved to the outside now, but when I turn this thing the other way, it'll be curved to the inside. So that way the neoprene is actually meeting right there, so it allows for as much protection as I can make it, and just adhered them and used the little pockets. I like it when a plan that I didn't even know I had comes together. Alright, let's see if we can turn this thing and see how rough it is to do this. So I'm pushing it in a way that hopefully will make the turn pretty good. So I'm just going to push that in, keeping my fingers on the outside to kind of grab it. All right. All right. Now let's give a feel to that neoprene to see how that all transpired. That's pretty good, guys. I mean, because it stays right in the groove with the facings. You know, I may not be completely silly on this after all. No, it definitely, here's my notes so far. I'm thinking whether I need to top stitch these. I don't know, because here's the deal. We don't have the neoprene in these upper corners, but we do have a lot of this. So when this is pulled together, this is substituting for the neoprene. Okay. Not bad. I will press it though, so that way things lay better. Zipper works nice. And once it's pressed out, and chose to form properly. I may end up using a heat press in the long run to do this because it's got a much bigger plate on it. But what do you think? Y'all, I think I might actually be ready to go to production with this. So I'm seeing, let's analyze without putting any pressure on that. It's hard to see, it's black, so it's difficult. But here, it won't even squeeze. So that tells us our device is going to sit right in there with some protective coverage, which is probably the same principles that they do on their other ones, but there's nothing in the other two corners, nevertheless the sides. But the rest of it has a gusset around it to give it some more depth, and there's nothing in those gussets in the ones that we buy like Amazon. Open that up a little bit. Okay, I'll show those on screen when I edit. But really, it's because, I mean, that does make me wonder whether the gusset is even necessary, but otherwise I'd be just turning them out the other way. And I don't like that method at all, because there's not any bulk to the, it's like, there's a lot of makers out there that are making their laptop sleeves, iPad sleeves like that, and nothing wrong with it. I just want some protection on my device, and apparently this is how you get it. Now, do I like the zip turning like that? I think once I press it, I think it'll be better. But it also gets it out of the way. I don't know. So, let me know. I'm going to press this down. Here, I'll just press it down and I'll finish up. Okay? When you're making a mess in your sewing room, and then you have to go to use that space, I think I can. That's on camera. I'm not sure, but I got to clean up a bunch of crap so I can even go iron. Yay! All right, I gave it a good press. Kind of let it even itself out on some areas. It's all good. And my 16-inch MacBook Pro fits in quite nicely. Actually has some room to spare. I might try my husband's. I think his is a little bit bigger. Y'all, I think it's too big. Now, I think what we can do here is call this an extra large. Because I have a feeling, like I said, I'm going to try my husband's and see if, because his is a little bit bigger than mine. Because it's too big. The sides aren't horrible, but I think in order to protect it well, I can decrease that by a solid inch. And the top, goodness gracious, y'all. You'd thought that I measured that, maybe. Well, I did, but I think I added a bunch and I didn't lose as much as I thought. That's a solid 2 inches more than I need. Like I said, it's a solid 2 inches more than I need. Sitting here debating on whether or not it would be more practical if I actually put like pen holders or something. No, I'm going to complicate my life to the point that it's not even. So what we now know is I've got to adjust the measurements, but the process works. The process works. The measurements, however, need reduced. In fact, the entire tote bag probably needs to be these dimensions. Okay, well, we know more, right? Okay, so. But I do like, because it needs to be snug in order for the extra layers of protection to truly work. But I do like because you can't even really feel the laptop as to its form. I mean, kind of, but so that we know we got some protection going on there, which is what I was reaching for. However, so my next one is going to be for this size, not the extra large that I'm apparently holding right here. So this was the extra large. Sometimes I just crack myself up. And I will check some bigger laptops to see if I need to modify these measurements, because just because I'm calling it that doesn't mean that that's a true statement. So, all right, so we are going to, I know enough now to go to production. And thank you for coming along with me on this R&D process of laptop sleeves. And now we know a lot of what not to do, a bunch of what probably is a good idea, and measure 3 times, cut once. Along with, make sure you have a newer needle, because that was an issue. But yeah, I'll tell you, I like that. It's not going against material, it's going against the neoprene. Anyway, we shall catch you on the next one. Got all sorts of things to do.